Algebra 1. Today is lesson 10-4, factoring to solve. So now we are going to start solving these quadratic equations. And what we are looking for with these quadratic equations and why we're solving them is pretty important. So what we're looking for, so when you think about your parabola that you guys graphed, you just draw a specific parabola here. Okay, it's easy to find the y-intercept. You plug your 0 in for x, solve for y. Very, very simple to find the y-intercept. To find the x-intercepts, that is why we are factoring to solve quadratic equations, so that we can find what these 2 points are. So we can find those 2 intersection points. That's what we are looking for. Because we're basically plugging 0 in for y, now solving for x, which is how you find your x-intercepts. So we're basically plugging that 0 in for y and we're solving for x. So we're going to use something. I already factored one out for you. Okay, you guys are so good at factoring by now. We had those big, huge worksheets that we had to do, so we should be pretty good at factoring. So we're going to use what we call the zero product property. Okay, so that means you take each of your factored parts, set it equal to 0. Okay, so over here, this is easy. Add your 1, x equals 1. So basically, when I have something like this, all I'm doing to pull that out of parentheses, flipping the sign on that. If I want to think of it as simple, easy, fast way, I'm just flipping the sign on that. So that becomes a positive 1. So this one here, you know that you have to subtract your 3 over. So you get 2x equals negative 3. Divide by 2. X equals negative 3 halves. Those are your 2 x-intercepts. That's where those would cross the x-axis if you were to graph that parabola. So that is what we're doing. We are factoring them out, and then we're going to set each part equal to 0 and find our 2 x-intercepts. So this one here, factor it. Okay, so I'm going to pull, I can't pull anything out. So I've got 1 and 2, 8 and 11, 4 and 22, 2 and 44. Okay, we're trying to figure out how to get 5 in the middle. Okay, 5 in the middle. Okay, so I look, what's 2 times 8? 16. What's 1 times 11? 11. What's 16 minus 11? 5. So 2x, x. What did I do? I went 2 times 8. Opposite of 2 goes my 8. 1 times 11. Opposite of my 1 goes my 11. Minus means my bigger set needs to be minus. 16 is bigger than 11. That's minus. That's plus. So now, what are my 2 x-intercepts? So we're going to take each of these, set it equal to 0. This one, just go ahead and do it. X equals positive 8. Remember what I said? Flip the sign on it. This one here, subtract 11. 2x equals negative 11 because we're taking it over to that side. Divide by 2. X equals negative 11 halves. Those are my 2 x-intercepts. This one here, what can we factor out of that? A 3. So pull a 3 out. So now I got x squared minus 9. Okay, should have put an equals 0 on that one too. Factor that. Difference of squares. I'm going to divide my 3 over. So this basically gets rid of that. So what are my 2 solutions then? Flip the sign on it. Flip the sign on it. Done. X equals negative 3. X equals 3. Okay, we'll do a couple more examples here so that we have them. So this one here, factor it. So again, we'll factor. Factors of 3, 1 and 3. Factors of 21, 1 and 21. 3 and 7. We're trying to get 2 in the middle. So what's 3 times 3? 9. What's 1 times 7? 7. What's 9 minus 7? That 2. So front numbers, 3x, x. What did I do? I went 3 times 3. Opposite of 3 goes a 3. 1 times 7. Opposite of the 1 goes a 7. Minus minus means bigger numbers minus. 9 is bigger than that 7. So this one here, easy. Flip the sign on it. X equals 3. This one here, subtract your 7 over, divide by 3. X equals, so 3, should solve it. I'm going to solve it out. 3x equals a negative 7. X equals a negative 7/3. Those are your two solutions. This one here, factor. What factors of 42? 1 and 42, 6 and 7, 2 and 21, 3 and 14. Which ones give me 1? 6 and 7. X, 7, 6. Plus minus means bigger numbers plus, other ones minus. Kept my equals 0 there. So my two solutions, flip the sign. X equals 6. Done. So again, all you're doing is factoring, like you have done multiple times now. And then you're taking those two factored parts, and you're just basically setting them equal to 0 and solving for x. So basic algebra, back to the basic algebra. So there it is, lesson 10-4, factoring to solve quadratic equations. Okay, there's going to be 3 different ways that we're going to be solving quadratic equations. Factoring is the first way, and always the best way if you can factor something. Tomorrow we'll do completing the square, and then the next day we will do the quadratic formula. Those do entail a little bit more work. So make sure I won't have very many problems assigned, but those are going to be a little bit more difficult to solve. So those are going to be the 2 hardest of this chapter to do. So there it is, factoring to solve quadratic equations.